Now that you have logged on to Aspen, this is the welcome window that you will see. The first thing you want to do is set your gradebook preferences. In the top taskbar, you see the taskbar Set Preferences. So click on Set Preferences and a window opens. Your default locale you will probably want to set as US English. Your default view will be staff view. I would leave auto save interval at 5 minutes. I would not disable user defined help. Records per page depends on what you're comfortable seeing. The default is 15. Some people set it at 30 because it's the average class size. So that means you would see 30 records on each page before you have to go to another page. I would engage show lower page controls. And what this means is if you want to navigate to another page, you don't have to go back to the top of the page to change pages. And warn on save is always good to have. So, first set of preferences. Click OK. Alright, next set of preferences will be your gradebook preferences. You cannot choose your gradebook unless you enable gradebook preferences. I would leave shade alternate lines checked because it helps you, especially when you're putting in grades, to make sure that you're on the correct line for a student. You want to keep track administrator updates checked. It adds a blue exclamation point if an administrator adjusts anything in your gradebook. Your tab direction you can change depending on if you're putting in multiple assignments for a single student or putting in a single assignment for an entire class. The options are across and down. So if you're doing assignments for an entire class, you may want it to be down. If you're doing assignments for students, you may want it to be across. We don't use studies in DC, so no need to check show studies. You must check enable gradebook features in order to use the gradebook. Date to ascending or descending is entirely up to you how you like to see your student work displayed. You may like to see the most recent work first. Some people like to see it in chronological order. Feel free to play around with that and change it. I would enable show points and headers only because it's a quick reference for you to see what the maximum points in each assignment are. I would enable show categories, names, and headers because it's very important for you to know what type of assignment you have given. Publish assignment statistics you may or may not want to enable. What it does show is the mean score and the highest and lowest score. Depending on the types of parents that you work with, you may or may not want to have that enabled. You can try it different ways. Show student alerts, you want it to be enabled because you want to know any students in your class for whom there's a specific alert. If it is a health alert, peanut allergies are very common, or it could be a pickup alert. So you want alerts to be enabled. Show course selection recommendations. In many schools around the third advisory, you will be given recommendations for students. You don't need that enabled all the time because it takes up valuable real estate. So I would disable that and only enable it when it is time to put in recommendations in your school. Anchor averages, you may want to enable that. It's a quick response. The student wanted to know what is my average for my assessment, so what's my average for participation. Missing assignments. Show missing column is a good way to keep track of students who have not turned in assignments. Count empty as missing has to do with how your approach to work. If there's an automatic 0, if it's not turned in on time, you may want to count empty as missing. If not, you may want to leave that unchecked. And show unscored assignments. If you only want to show once an assignment is scored, you can leave that unchecked. Default weighting. This is very important. DCPS requires that you use one of the weightings by categories. There are 3 different weightings by categories. There is categories only, categories and assignments, category total points. You have to use one of these settings. So what is the difference? Under categories only, all assignments within the same category get the same weight. I'll say that one more time. Under categories only, all assignments within the same category get the same weight. So the number of points given to the assignment does not affect the weight. Categories and assignments. Categories and assignments, you can artificially weight your assignments irrespective of the points. So you can decide this particular assignment is going to be worth a weight of 1, this other assignment will have twice that weight, and it has nothing to do with the point system. Categories total points is probably the function that most teachers are familiar with. That is, within a category, if you give an assignment 10 points and another assignment 20 points, the 20-point assignment will be worth twice as much as the 10-point assignment. Most teachers will probably select category total points. Decimals recommendation is leaving it at 2. And your grade scale, you will want to select your high school grade scale. Sometimes you lose your windows. And once you've made all your selections, you want to select OK, and you have saved your gradebook preferences.